I remember the exact moment it happened. 7:12 a.m. on my 32nd birthday. The notification lit up my phone screen in the darkness of my bedroom. You were removed from Marshall Family Updates. I blinked at my phone, thinking it must be some kind of glitch. Our family group chat had been active for years. Birthdays, holidays, random jokes, and occasional drama all documented in that digital space that connected us across cities and busy schedules. I sat up in bed, my heart already racing. Being the first thing I saw on my birthday felt like some cruel cosmic joke. No happy birthday messages, no silly gifts, just removed. Like I'd been digitally erased from the family with one swipe. I immediately texted my sister Elaine. She was always the family mediator, the one who kept everyone connected, the one my parents listened to without question. Hey, did something happen to the group chat? I can't see it anymore. 3 dots appeared instantly. She was typing. I'm sorry it happened today of all days. Mom thought it would be better if we had a separate chat for a while. Just for peace. For peace. The word stung more than the removal itself. As if I was the source of chaos in our family. As if removing me was the solution to whatever problems they had. On my birthday? I typed back, my fingers trembling slightly. I really am sorry about the timing. It wasn't my idea. 3 dots again. Happy birthday, though. I put my phone down and stared at the ceiling. Happy birthday. An afterthought. A consolation prize after being excluded from my own family. The sunlight was just beginning to filter through my curtains, casting a soft glow across my bedroom. On any other birthday, I might have felt hopeful, excited for the day ahead. But now, all I felt was that familiar hollow ache in my chest. The one that appeared whenever my family reminded me of my place in their hierarchy. The thing is, our family had always operated this way. My sister Elaine was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong. Her perfect grades, her perfect job at a prestigious law firm, her perfect husband, and their perfect house in the suburbs. My brother Tyler was the charming one, forgiven for every mistake because of his winning smile and easy laugh. Even when he dropped out of college twice before finally getting his degree, my parents supported him financially and emotionally without question. And then there was me, Sarah, the one who asked too many questions, the one who didn't go with the flow enough, the one who apparently disturbed the peace by simply existing authentically. Growing up, I'd learned to live with it. When my parents bought Elaine a brand new car for her 16th birthday, but told me they couldn't afford one for mine 2 years later. When they flew across the country for Tyler's college graduation, but had scheduling conflicts for mine, even though I'd given them 6 months' notice. When family vacations were planned around everyone's schedule except mine, as if my time and commitments were less valuable. I'd built my life despite it all. A good job as a marketing director for a growing company. A small but beautiful apartment that I'd decorated myself, every corner reflecting my personality and achievements. A circle of friends who actually celebrated my accomplishments without making me feel like I needed to dim my light. I'd created my own peace away from the subtle digs and constant comparisons. But family was different. No matter how much distance you put between yourself and the pain, it still finds ways to reach you, especially on days when you're supposed to feel special. I got up and made myself coffee, trying to shake off the heaviness in my chest. My phone pinged with birthday messages from friends and coworkers, each one a small comfort, but none erasing the sting of what had happened. Happy birthday, superstar. Can't wait to celebrate tonight. From Mia, my best friend since college. HBD to the marketing genius. Have an amazing day, from my coworker James. Happy birthday to the woman who taught me everything I know about digital campaigns. Miss you, from my former intern. These messages should have lifted my spirits. Instead, they only highlighted the absence of the ones that should have mattered most. By noon, I still hadn't heard from anyone else in my family. No call from Mom, no text from Dad, nothing from Tyler. Just that one half-hearted happy birthday from Elaine after dropping the news that they'd all decided to exclude me from family communications. I sat at my kitchen island, picking at a salad I'd made for lunch but had no appetite for. My phone screen remained stubbornly dark. No new notifications from any family members. I opened my social media apps, scrolling mindlessly to distract myself. That's when I saw it. A post from my mother. Perfect afternoon with my favorite people, so blessed to have this time together. The photo showed my parents, Elaine, her husband Mark, and Tyler at Rossini's, my favorite Italian restaurant, all smiling, all together, without me. On my birthday. The timestamp showed it was posted just an hour ago. While I sat alone in my apartment, they were having a family gathering, one I wasn't invited to. I zoomed in on the image, noticing the details. A bottle of champagne on the table. My mother wearing her pearl necklace, the one she only wore for special occasions. My father in his good blazer. This wasn't some impromptu lunch. This was planned. Deliberately planned. Without me. On my birthday. I called my mother immediately, my heart pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Hello? She sounded surprised to hear from me. Mom, are you at Rossini's right now? A pause. Oh, Sarah. Yes, we're just having a little lunch. On my birthday, at my favorite restaurant. And you didn't think to invite me? Another pause. Longer this time. I could hear the muffled sounds of conversation and clinking glasses in the background. Well, honey, you've been so busy lately. We didn't want to bother you. The lie was so transparent it was almost laughable. Almost. Is that why you removed me from the family chat too? To not bother me? I could hear muffled voices in the background. My family, probably wondering why their perfect lunch was being interrupted by the inconvenient daughter. Sarah, please don't make this into a big deal. Elaine thought it would be better if we had some space from all the tension. Just for a little while. Elaine thought. I thought she said it was your idea. Well, we all discussed it and... On my birthday, Mom. You chose my birthday to exclude me, and now you're all at Rossini's celebrating without me. We're not celebrating your birthday, Sarah. Her voice had that edge now, the one that always appeared when I didn't accept their version of reality. Tyler just got a promotion, and we wanted to congratulate him. Of course, Tyler's achievement trumped my birthday. Some things never changed. You could have invited me to celebrate with him. Sarah, with how things have been lately. We just wanted a peaceful lunch. You always get so worked up about everything. There it was again. Peace. Always peace at the expense of my inclusion. Peace at the expense of my feelings. Peace at the expense of acknowledging that they were hurting me. Right, I said finally. Peace. Enjoy your lunch. I hung up before she could respond. Before the tears that were threatening could spill over. I sat there, phone in hand, trying to process what had just happened. The family group chat removal wasn't a mistake or a glitch. It was intentional. And worse, it was just the beginning of how they planned to spend my birthday. Without me. I walked to the window of my apartment, looking out at the city below. People walking, laughing, living their lives. How many of them were carrying invisible wounds from the people who were supposed to love them most? My phone buzzed again. A text from Elaine. Mom said you called. Please don't make this a bigger deal than it is. We can do something for your birthday another day. Another day. As if birthdays were transferable. As if the point wasn't that they had chosen to exclude me on the actual day. I didn't respond. What was there to say? That I was hurt? They knew that. That I felt excluded. That was their intention. That I deserved better? They didn't think so. Instead, I opened my photo gallery and scrolled back through pictures from family events over the past few years. There I was at last, Thanksgiving, sitting at the far end of the table while everyone else clustered at the other end, deep in conversation. There I was at Elaine's baby shower, taking photos of everyone else but appearing in none myself. There I was at my parents' anniversary party, standing slightly apart, a smile fixed on my face while everyone else looked genuinely happy. The pattern was so clear now. I had always been on the periphery, the family member who was included out of obligation but never truly integrated, the one whose absence would barely be noticed. Except today, they hadn't even bothered with the obligation. My throat felt tight, and my eyes burned with unshed tears. I had spent so many years trying to earn my place in this family, calling regularly, sending thoughtful gifts, asking about their lives, showing up for every event. And for what? To be removed from a group chat on my birthday and excluded from a family lunch? I looked at the time. 1:30 p.m. Half of my birthday gone already, spent feeling sad and rejected. I had a choice to make about how to spend the rest of it. Just then, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and for a brief, hopeful moment, I wondered if perhaps my family had decided to surprise me after all. I opened the door to find a delivery person holding an elaborate bouquet of flowers. "Sarah Marshall?" he asked. "That's me. These are for you. Happy birthday." I took the flowers and thanked him, closing the door before opening the small card tucked among the blooms. "To my amazing friend on her birthday. May this year bring you all the love and recognition you deserve. Can't wait to celebrate tonight. Love, Mia." The tears I'd been holding back finally spilled over. But these were different tears. These were tears of gratitude for the people who did see me, who did value me, people who didn't need me to be smaller or quieter or more agreeable to deserve their love. I placed the flowers in a vase on my dining table, their bright colors a stark contrast to the gray feelings that had dominated my morning. Then I picked up my phone and texted Mia. "Thank you for the beautiful flowers. They made my day." Her response was immediate. "Only the best for my bestie. Still on for dinner tonight? 7 p.m. at Cleo's. Everyone's so excited." Right. I had dinner plans with my friends. People who had planned ahead to celebrate me. People who included me in their lives not out of obligation, but because they genuinely enjoyed my company. "Absolutely," I texted back. "I can't wait." As I put my phone down, I caught my reflection in the mirror hanging in my hallway. Eyes a little red from crying, shoulders slightly slumped. The posture of someone who had been hurt. But I was not just someone who had been hurt. I was also someone who was loved, someone who had built meaningful connections outside my family, someone who deserved better than what my family had offered today. I straightened my shoulders and wiped my eyes. The day wasn't over yet, and I refused to let my family's actions define my entire birthday. I spent the next hour trying to distract myself, cleaning my already tidy apartment, answering work emails I could have left until tomorrow, reorganizing my bookshelf. Anything to keep my mind off the lunch happening across town without me. But memories kept flooding back. All the times I'd been the afterthought, the inconvenience, the one whose feelings didn't quite matter enough. Like when I was 16 and had pneumonia during the family's annual lake house vacation. Instead of postponing or canceling, they went without me. My mom dropped me off at my grandmother's house with antibiotics and instructions to rest. I spent a week watching TV while they posted photos of boat rides and bonfires. When they returned, they brought me a t-shirt that said Lake Powell, as if that somehow made up for missing the trip entirely. Or the time Tyler announced his engagement at my graduate school celebration dinner, effectively turning what should have been my moment into his. Everyone cooed over the ring and wedding plans, while my academic achievement, the first graduate degree in our family, became a footnote. Even the congratulatory cake my parents had ordered was moved to the side to make room for champagne toasts to the happy couple. Then there was Elaine's wedding, where I wasn't asked to be a bridesmaid, despite us being sisters. "I just want my closest friends," she had explained, as if that didn't reveal exactly where I stood in her life. I spent the entire wedding day helping with logistics, fixing problems, making sure everything was perfect for her, only to be barely mentioned in her speech, thanking everyone who had made her day special. These patterns had existed for so long that I'd normalized them. I had become an expert at swallowing my hurt, at making excuses for their behavior, at telling myself I was overreacting. But something about being removed from a family chat on my birthday, while they all dined at my favorite restaurant, hit differently. It wasn't just forgetting me or overshadowing me, it was actively excluding me. My phone rang. It was Elaine. I considered letting it go to voicemail but answered on the last ring. "Hey," she said softly. "Are you okay? Mom said you called." "Am I okay? You all removed me from the family chat on my birthday and went to lunch without me. What do you think?" Elaine sighed. "Look, I know how it seems, but..." "How it seems?" "Elaine, it doesn't seem anyway. It's exactly what happened. Sarah, you've been so confrontational lately. Every family discussion turns into an argument because you're always pointing out something that isn't fair or questioning everyone's intentions." I sat down at my kitchen table, stunned. "Is that how you see it? That I'm confrontational because I don't just smile and nod when things aren't right? See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're getting defensive instead of trying to understand where we're coming from." "Where you're coming from? You excluded me on my birthday and you want me to understand your perspective?" "Tyler's promotion is a big deal, Sarah. He's now the youngest regional manager in his company's history. We wanted to celebrate without any tension." I laughed bitterly. "And I'm the tension, right? The fact that it's also my birthday and I wasn't invited, that's not creating tension?" "We were going to call you tonight," Elaine said, her voice taking on that placating tone she always used when trying to manage me. "Mom bought a cake. We were going to do a video call." "A video call? While you're all together in person. How generous." "Sarah, please." "No, Elaine, not this time. You don't get to exclude me, gaslight me about it, and then expect me to be grateful for the scraps of attention you throw my way." "No one is gaslighting you," she said, her voice hardening. "This is exactly why we needed space. You always make everything about you." "It's my birthday," I nearly shouted. "Today actually is supposed to be about me." I heard muffled voices again. Then Elaine's voice, distant as if she'd covered the phone. "It's fine. I'm handling it." Handling it. Handling me. Like I was a problem to be managed rather than a family member to be loved. "Sarah?" Elaine was back. "We can talk about this tomorrow when everyone's calmed down. I'll come by your place and..." "Don't bother," I said, surprising myself with how calm I suddenly felt. "I don't need you to handle me. I don't need a pity visit. And I definitely don't need a video call birthday celebration with people who couldn't bother to include me in real life." "You're being dramatic again." "Goodbye, Elaine." I hung up and immediately blocked her number. Then, after a moment's hesitation, I blocked my mother's number too, and Tyler's, and my father's. Just for today, just for my birthday. I needed peace too. I sat in the silence of my apartment, feeling oddly lighter. The pain was still there, but something else was emerging. Clarity. The kind that only comes when someone crosses a line so clearly that there's no more room for doubt or second guessing. My entire life, I had been trying to earn my place in this family. Always walking on eggshells, always trying to be less difficult, always accepting less than I deserved. And where had it gotten me? Removed from the family chat and excluded from a lunch on my own birthday. I walked to the bathroom and splashed cold water on my face. As I looked at my reflection, eyes red, face pale, I made a decision. I was done trying to fit into a space that was never meant for me. Done trying to earn love that should have been freely given. done accepting scraps when I deserved a full plate. My phone pinged with another birthday message, this one from my friend Mia. "Happy birthday, beautiful. Still on for dinner tonight? The reservation is at 8, and the girls are all so excited to celebrate you." I smiled through my tears. Right. I had dinner plans with my friends, people who actually wanted to celebrate me, people who included me in their lives not out of obligation but because they genuinely enjoyed my company. I typed back, "Absolutely, can't wait to see you all." Then I put my phone down and went to take a shower. As the hot water ran over me, I allowed myself to really feel everything: the hurt, the anger, the disappointment, but also the determination. Something had shifted inside me. For years, I'd been trying to earn my place in a family that always made me feel like an outsider. Always walking on eggshells, always trying to be less difficult, always accepting less than I deserved. Maybe it was time to stop. Maybe it was time to build boundaries as sturdy as the walls they'd placed between us. By the time I stepped out of the shower, I felt different, lighter. Like I'd washed away more than just tears. I'd washed away the expectation that they would ever treat me as an equal member of the family. I took my time getting ready for dinner with my friends. I put on my favorite dress, a deep blue one that brought out my eyes. I did my makeup carefully, covering the evidence of my earlier tears. I styled my hair, spritzed on perfume, chose jewelry that made me feel confident. Today was still my birthday, and I was going to celebrate it with people who actually celebrated me. As I was putting on my earrings, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. I almost didn't answer, thinking it might be one of my family members calling from another phone since I'd blocked them. But something told me to pick up. "Hello? Sarah? It's Aunt Vivian. My mother's sister." We weren't particularly close, but she'd always been kind to me at family gatherings, asking genuine questions about my life and actually listening to the answers. "Oh, hi, Aunt Vivian. How are you?" "I'm well, dear. I'm calling to wish you a happy birthday." "Thank you," I said, genuinely touched. "That means a lot." There was a pause. "Sarah, I also wanted to check on you. I saw the family was at Rossini's on your mother's social media and, well, I was surprised you weren't there. On your birthday of all days." I hesitated, not wanting to drag her into family drama, but also grateful that someone had noticed the obvious problem. "They didn't invite me," I said simply. "They also removed me from the family group chat this morning. Apparently, I disturbed the peace too much." Aunt Vivian was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "You know, your mother was always the same way with me growing up. If I didn't agree with everything, if I asked questions or pointed out problems, I was creating drama. It's why we've never been as close as sisters should be." I sat down on my bed, surprised. I didn't know that. People who demand peace at all costs aren't really interested in peace, Sarah. They're interested in compliance. There's a big difference. Her words hit me like a revelation. Compliance, not peace. That's what my family had always wanted from me. "The thing is," Aunt Vivian continued, "some people can't handle anyone who makes them question their version of reality. Your mother has always needed to believe that her family is perfect. Her decisions are always right, and anyone who suggests otherwise is the problem." "That sounds about right," I said, feeling a strange connection to this aunt I'd never really known well. "Did you ever find a way to make it work with her?" Aunt Vivian laughed, but there was a tinge of sadness in it. "I stopped trying to change her or make her see me. I built my life with people who accept me as I am. We see each other at holidays, and I keep my expectations very low." "That sounds lonely," I admitted. "Sometimes it is," she said. "But it's less lonely than constantly trying to be someone I'm not just to earn a seat at a table where I'm not really welcome." We talked for another 15 minutes. She told me about her own birthday last year, which my mother had forgotten entirely. She told me about her wonderful friends who had become her chosen family. She told me about the freedom that came with accepting the reality of her relationship with my mother, rather than the fantasy of what it could be. By the time we hung up, I felt like I had found an unexpected ally. Someone who understood exactly what I was experiencing, because she had lived it herself. "Thank you for calling, Aunt Vivian," I said. "It really helped." "Anytime, dear. And Sarah, happy birthday. I hope this year brings you the courage to stop accepting less than you deserve." After we hung up, I finished getting ready with a new sense of purpose. Maybe this birthday, painful as it had been, was giving me a gift after all. The gift of clarity. The gift of finally seeing my family dynamic for what it was rather than what I wished it could be. My phone pinged again. A text message from a number I didn't recognize. "Happy birthday, Sarah. This is Dad. Your mother told me you were upset about lunch. I'm sorry if you felt left out. We just wanted to celebrate Tyler's news without any complications." Complications. That's what I was to them, a complication. I didn't respond. I didn't unblock his regular number. Instead, I put my phone in my purse and left my apartment. The evening air was cool against my skin as I walked the few blocks to the restaurant where I was meeting my friends. With each step, I felt myself leaving behind the hurt of the morning and moving toward a celebration with people who actually wanted me there. As I approached Cleo's, I could already see them through the window, Mia, Jamie, and Lexi, sitting at a table with a small pile of gift bags. They hadn't spotted me yet, but they were laughing, checking their watches, clearly excited and waiting for my arrival. For a moment, I just stood there, taking in the sight. This was what genuine inclusion looked like. This was what it felt like to be wanted. I pushed open the door, and immediately they saw me. Their faces lit up with genuine smiles. "There she is," Mia called out, standing to give me a hug. "The birthday queen has arrived. We've been waiting to order the good stuff until you got here," Jamie said, pulling out a chair for me. "And we might have gone a little overboard on the presents," Lexi added with a grin, gesturing to the gift bags. As I sat down, surrounded by people who were genuinely happy to see me, I felt a weight lifting off my shoulders. Yes, my family had hurt me today. Yes, there would be fallout to deal with tomorrow. But right now, in this moment, I was exactly where I was supposed to be, with people who didn't see me as a complication or a threat to their peace. People who wanted me just as I was. "Thank you all for being here," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "Where else would we be on your birthday?" Mia asked, looking genuinely confused at the idea that they would be anywhere else. And there it was, the difference between obligation and choice, between compliance and genuine connection, between family by blood and family by choice. As we clinked glasses and they began singing Happy Birthday, slightly off-key and drawing amused looks from nearby tables, I made a promise to myself. From this day forward, I would stop trying to earn a place at a table where I wasn't welcome. I would stop accepting scraps of affection when I deserved the whole meal. I would build boundaries as strong as the walls my family had built against me. Today marked not just another year of my life, but the beginning of a new way of living it. And despite everything, or perhaps because of it, this might turn out to be my most important birthday yet. The dinner with my friends was exactly what I needed. For a few hours, I forgot about the morning's heartbreak as we laughed over shared stories, clinked glasses of wine, and they showered me with thoughtful gifts that proved they actually knew me. A leather-bound journal from Mia, who knew I loved writing, a gift certificate for a spa day from Lexi, who understood my need for self-care, and concert tickets from Jamie for an artist we both loved. "To Sarah," Mia said, raising her glass for a toast. "The most authentic person I know, who makes all of our lives richer just by being herself." The others joined in, adding their own warm words. Their sincerity washed over me like a healing balm, temporarily filling the void my family had created. It wasn't until I was in the Uber heading home, pleasantly tipsy and emotionally drained, that reality crept back in. I checked my phone, almost involuntarily. No new messages from unknown numbers. My family hadn't tried to reach me through alternative means. Part of me was relieved, but another part, the stubborn, hopeful part that refused to die despite years of disappointment, felt a new pang of hurt. They really could just go on with their lives without me, even on my birthday. When I got home, I made myself a cup of tea and curled up on my couch, the high from dinner with friends slowly fading. The apartment felt especially quiet now. I unblocked my family's numbers, not because I was ready to talk to them, but because I wanted to know if they had even tried to reach out while blocked. A few notifications came through. 2 missed calls from my mother about 3 hours ago. A voicemail. A text message that simply read, "Call me when you're done with your tantrum." My tantrum. As if my hurt was just an emotional overreaction. As if I was a child who needed to be disciplined rather than an adult who had been deliberately excluded from her own family on her birthday. I didn't call. Instead, I listened to the voicemail. "Sarah, it's Mom. I don't understand why you're making such a big deal out of this. We were going to call you tonight for your birthday. Tyler's promotion deserved a proper celebration, and you know how you get when you feel like you're not the center of attention. Call me back when you're ready to be reasonable." I deleted the message immediately, anger rising in my chest. This was their playbook. Make me the unreasonable one, the selfish one, the difficult one. Never mind that they had removed me from the family chat and excluded me from a lunch on my birthday. Somehow, I was still the problem. I opened my laptop and navigated to my mother's social media page, something I rarely did because it usually left me feeling worse. There were new photos from their lunch, now with captions added. Celebrating Tyler's incredible achievement, youngest regional manager in company history. You're proud, Mom. You're family first. Family first. The irony wasn't lost on me. I scrolled through the comments. Friends and extended family congratulating Tyler. No one asking where I was on my birthday. Either they didn't remember it was my birthday, or they assumed I was behind the camera, as usual, the invisible family member. Except Aunt Vivian. She had commented, "Looks like a lovely lunch. Hope Sarah is enjoying her birthday too." A small act of recognition, but it meant everything in that moment. At least someone had noticed. At least someone had cared enough to mention it. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. For a moment, I thought it might be another family member, but it was just a promotional message from a store I'd shopped at recently. I closed my laptop and leaned back on the couch, exhausted. 32 years old, and still feeling like the unwanted child seeking validation from people who had shown me, time and again, that I would never be a priority. Why did it still hurt so much? Why couldn't I just accept that this was how it would always be and stop expecting anything different? The rational part of me knew that I deserved better, that their behavior today wasn't a reflection of my worth, but of their own limitations. But the wounded part, the little girl who had always tried so hard to be good enough, to be loved enough, still ached with a pain that felt almost physical. I must have fallen asleep on the couch because I woke up to sunlight streaming through my windows. My neck was stiff, my mouth dry. I checked my phone, 7:30 a.m. A new day. My birthday was officially over. There were new text messages waiting for me. From Elaine. "Mom's upset you didn't call her back. We all sang happy birthday on video chat last night, but you missed it. Hope you had a good evening anyway." From Tyler. "Hey sis, congrats on another trip around the sun. Sorry about yesterday. You know how Mom gets when she's excited about something. My promotion was kind of a big deal though." From Dad. "Your mother is very hurt that you ignored her calls. Call her today." Not a single genuine apology among them. Not one acknowledgement that removing me from the family chat and excluding me from a family lunch on my birthday might have been hurtful. Just more of the same. Expectations that I would fall in line, smooth things over, be the bigger person, I set my phone down without responding and got ready for work. I didn't have the emotional energy to engage with them right now. What would I even say? That I was hurt? They knew that already and had dismissed it. That I deserved better? They clearly didn't think so. At work, I tried to focus on my tasks, but my mind kept drifting back to yesterday, to the removal from the chat, to the lunch I wasn't invited to the voicemail blaming me for being upset about it all. My colleague James stopped by my desk around noon. "How was the birthday?" he asked cheerfully. "Do anything special?" I forced a smile. "Dinner with friends. It was nice." Cool. How about family stuff? They do anything for you?" The question was so innocent, so normal. Of course, people would assume my family had celebrated me in some way. That's what families did. "Not really," I said, keeping my tone light. "They were busy with other things." James looked confused for a moment, but then nodded. "Well, their loss. Hey, some of us are going for lunch at that new place down the street. Want to join?" "Thanks, but I think I'll just stay here and catch up on some work." He nodded and left, and I was grateful he didn't press the issue. The last thing I wanted was to explain to a coworker that my family had essentially forgotten my birthday in favor of celebrating my brother's promotion. I pulled out my phone during my lunch break, still not ready to respond to my family, but curious if there had been any more messages. There was one new text from my mother. "I'm very disappointed in how you handled yesterday, Sarah. Your silence is very hurtful to me." I nearly laughed out loud at the absurdity of it. My silence was hurtful to her? What about their actions? What about removing me from the family chat on my birthday? What about excluding me from a family lunch? What about dismissing my feelings when I expressed hurt? I started typing a response, then deleted it. Started again, deleted again. Nothing I could say would make her understand. Nothing would change the dynamic that had been in place for as long as I could remember. Instead, I opened my photos and created a new album titled Chosen Family. I added pictures from last night's dinner with my friends. Pictures from a weekend trip we'd taken last month. Pictures of people who showed up for me consistently, who valued my presence, who didn't make me feel like I had to earn their love. Looking at these images, I felt a sense of calm settling over me. Yes, the pain of my biological family's rejection was still there, but it didn't define me. It didn't determine my worth. I had built connections with people who saw me, really saw me, and chose to keep me in their lives. By the end of the workday, I had made a decision. I wasn't going to respond to any of my family's messages yet. I needed time to process what had happened, to decide what kind of relationship I wanted with them moving forward. No more knee-jerk reactions, no more desperate attempts to explain my feelings to people who weren't interested in understanding them. As I walked to my car in the parking garage, my phone rang. It was Aunt Vivian again. "Hi, Aunt Vivian," I answered, genuinely pleased to hear from her. "Hello, dear. I just wanted to check in. How was the rest of your birthday?" "It had its ups and downs," I admitted. "Dinner with friends was wonderful. The family situation, not so much." "I figured as much when I saw those photos your mother posted. No mention of your birthday at all." "Yeah, apparently Tyler's promotion was more important." Aunt Vivian made a sound that was somewhere between a sigh and a scoff. "You know, your mother called me this morning, upset that you were ignoring her." "Of course she did," I said, feeling the familiar weight settling back on my shoulders. "Let me guess. I'm being unreasonable and hurtful." That was the gist of it, yes. I didn't tell her I'd spoken to you, but I did ask why they hadn't included you in the lunch, especially on your birthday. What did she say? She said you would have made it all about you and ruined Tyler's moment. When I pointed out that it was, in fact, your birthday, she said birthdays aren't as important as career achievements, and that you should understand that as an adult. I leaned against my car, suddenly tired. Wow. Indeed, I told her she was being ridiculous and that she owed you an apology. She hung up on me. Despite everything, I found myself smiling at the image of someone actually standing up to my mother. Thank you for that. Really. Family loyalty shouldn't mean enabling bad behavior, Sarah. What they did was wrong, plain and simple. We talked for a few more minutes, and by the time we hung up, I felt a little less alone in my feelings. It was validating to have someone from within the family acknowledge that my hurt was justified. At home, I made myself dinner and tried to focus on a book I'd been meaning to read, but my thoughts kept circling back to my family. The texts I hadn't responded to, the calls I hadn't returned, the hurt I was still carrying. Around 8 p.m., my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and for a moment, I wondered if it might be Elaine, making good on her offer to stop by. I looked through the peephole and was surprised to see my brother Tyler standing there, shifting uncomfortably from foot to foot. I opened the door, unsure what to expect. "Tyler, what are you doing here?" He looked different than he had in the photos from yesterday, less triumphant, more unsure of himself. "Can I come in?" I hesitated, then stepped aside to let him enter. He walked into my living room, glancing around as if he'd never been there before. Which I realized with a start, he hadn't. Not since I'd moved in 2 years ago. "Nice place," he said awkwardly. "Thanks. What brings you by?" He sat down on my couch without being invited to. A very Tyler move. "Mom's freaking out because you're not answering her texts or calls." Of course. He wasn't here because he was concerned about me. He was here as an emissary for our mother. "I needed some time to process everything," I said, sitting in the armchair across from him. "It's not every day you get removed from the family chat and excluded from a family lunch on your own birthday." Tyler at least had the grace to look uncomfortable. "Yeah, about that. That wasn't my idea, just so you know." "But you went along with it." He shrugged, not denying it. "Look, I get that you're upset, but you know how Mom is. She wanted to celebrate my promotion without any distractions. And I'm a distraction? You have to admit, you've been pretty confrontational lately. Always bringing up stuff from the past, pointing out how things aren't fair. It makes everyone uncomfortable." I looked at my brother, really looked at him. He was 30 years old, but in many ways, he was still the golden boy who had never had to question his place in the family, never had to wonder if he was loved enough, valued enough. "Tyler, do you honestly think it was okay to exclude me from a family lunch on my birthday?" He squirmed a little. "It wasn't ideal timing, I'll give you that. But my promotion is a really big deal, Sarah. I'm the youngest. Regional manager in company history. Yes, I know. Mom's post mentioned it about 5 times. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. That little edge in your voice. That resentment. Can you blame me? You got a promotion. That's great, genuinely. But did it have to be celebrated on my birthday without me?" Tyler sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Mom wanted it to be yesterday. She had already made the reservations before she remembered it was your birthday. And then she was worried that if you came, you'd make it all about you. It was my birthday, Tyler. It actually was supposed to be about me, at least a little bit." He looked at me with a mixture of pity and exasperation. "Birthdays aren't that big a deal once you're an adult, Sarah. Mom's right about that. You're making this into a much bigger thing than it needs to be." And there it was. The familiar dismissal. The implication that my feelings were excessive, unreasonable, that I should just get over it and fall back in line. "Is that why you're here?" I asked. "To tell me I'm overreacting and should just call Mom and apologize for being upset that you all excluded me on my birthday?" "Pretty much, yeah." At least he was honest. "Look, you know how she gets when she thinks someone's mad at her. She won't let it go. She'll keep bringing it up, keep getting more and more worked up. It's easier to just smooth things over. Easier for whom? I wanted to ask. Easier for him, for Elaine, for my parents. But not for me. Never for me. I'm not calling her tonight, I said firmly. I need more time. Tyler stood up, clearly frustrated. Come on, Sarah. Just call her, tell her you're not mad anymore, and we can all move on. Why do you always have to make things so difficult? There it was again. I was the difficult one, the one causing problems, the one who needed to adapt, to accommodate, to make things easier for everyone else. I think you should go, I said quietly. Seriously? You're kicking me out now? I'm asking you to leave because this conversation isn't productive. I'll talk to Mom when I'm ready, not because you or anyone else thinks I should. Tyler shook his head, his expression a mixture of disappointment and irritation. This is why they didn't want you at lunch yesterday, you know. This exact attitude. Always making a big deal out of everything, always playing the victim. His words hit like a physical blow, but I kept my expression neutral. Goodbye, Tyler. He left without another word, slamming my door a little harder than necessary. As soon as he was gone, I locked it and leaned against it, my legs suddenly weak. This was the reality of my family. When I expressed hurt over legitimate mistreatment, I was labeled difficult, oversensitive, a troublemaker. When I stood up for myself, set boundaries, asked for basic consideration, I was cast as the villain in their narrative. And yet, a small voice inside me still whispered, maybe they're right. Maybe you are too sensitive. Maybe you should just call Mom, smooth things over, move on. That voice had been with me my entire life, making me doubt my own feelings, my own perceptions, making me question whether I really deserved better, or whether this was all I could expect from family relationships. But tonight, another voice was growing stronger. The voice that said, you deserve better. You are not asking for too much. Your feelings are valid. You have the right to set boundaries. I walked to my bedroom and pulled out the journal Mia had given me for my birthday. On the first page, I wrote, Today I am choosing myself. Today I am acknowledging that my feelings matter. Today, I am setting boundaries with people who hurt me, even if they're family, especially if they're family. The words stared back at me from the page, both terrifying and liberating. For so long, I had accepted the role assigned to me in my family's drama, the difficult one, the oversensitive one, the one who needed to try harder, be better, want less. But what if I refused that role? What if I wrote a different story for myself? I closed the journal and got ready for bed, feeling a strange sense of calm settling over me. Tomorrow would bring more difficult conversations, more decisions about what kind of relationship I wanted with my family moving forward. But tonight, I would sleep knowing that I had taken the first step toward something better, something healthier, something more authentic. As I drifted off to sleep, Aunt Vivian's words echoed in my mind. People who demand peace at all costs aren't really interested in peace. They're interested in compliance. I was done being compliant. From now on, I would seek genuine peace, the kind that comes not from silencing your own needs, but from honoring them. The next morning, I woke up with a clarity I hadn't felt in years. The hurt was still there, a dull ache beneath my breastbone. But it was accompanied by a new sensation: resolve. I was done letting my family dictate my worth, done accepting scraps of attention and calling it love. I got ready for work methodically, taking extra care with my appearance. Somehow, looking put together on the outside helped me feel more together on the inside. At work, I threw myself into my projects, finding comfort in structured challenges. During lunch, I received another text from my mother. Your continued silence is very hurtful and immature, Sarah. We need to talk about this. I took a deep breath and finally replied, I agree, we need to talk. I'll call you this evening. Her response was immediate. Why not now? Typical. On her timeline. On her terms. Because I'm at work. I'll call around 7. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. Finally. Fine. At home that evening, I changed into comfortable clothes and made myself a light dinner, though my stomach was too knotted to eat much. At 6:55, I sat on my couch, phone in hand, mentally reviewing the points I wanted to make. At precisely 7 p.m., I called my mother. She answered on the first ring. Finally. I've been waiting for you to call since yesterday. No, hello, no pleasantries. Just an immediate reminder that I had failed to meet her expectations. Hi, Mom, I said, keeping my voice steady. I needed some time to process everything that happened. I don't understand what there is to process, Sarah. Tyler got a wonderful promotion. We celebrated as a family. You chose to make it all about you because it happened to be your birthday. I closed my eyes, breathing through the familiar wave of frustration. Mom, you removed me from the family group chat on my birthday morning. You had a family lunch at my favorite restaurant without inviting me. Those are facts, not interpretations. We were going to call you that evening for your birthday. I even bought a cake. But then you had to overreact about the lunch and block everyone's numbers. I blocked your numbers after you dismissed my feelings about being excluded, after you made it clear that Tyler's promotion was more important than my birthday. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're twisting my words and making everything into a personal attack. And this was the pattern we'd been stuck in for years. Me expressing hurt, her denying my reality, me doubting myself, and ultimately apologizing just to end the conflict. Not this time. Mom, I'm not twisting anything. I'm telling you how your actions affected me. Being removed from the family chat on my birthday hurt. Being excluded from a family lunch at my favorite restaurant hurt. You're always so sensitive, Sarah. Always looking for reasons to be offended. Do you know how exhausting that is for the rest of us? Is that really how you see me, Mom? As someone who's looking for reasons to be offended? Not as someone who wants to be included and valued in her own family? Of course we value you, she said, her voice taking on that patronizing tone I knew so well. But you have to admit, you do make things difficult sometimes. Always bringing up the past. Always pointing out what you think isn't fair. I could feel myself being pulled back into the old pattern. It was time to try a different approach. Mom, I'm not calling to argue about what happened. I'm calling to tell you that I need some space from the family for a while. Silence on the other end of the line. Then, what do you mean, space? I mean that I need time to think about what kind of relationship I want with you, with Dad, with Elaine and Tyler. Right now, the dynamic isn't healthy for me. Not healthy? Her voice rose in pitch. What are you talking about? We're your family. Yes, you are. And families are supposed to support each other, include each other, value each other's feelings. I don't feel supported, included, or valued right now. So you're just going to what? Cut us off? Over one lunch? It's not about one lunch, Mom. It's about a pattern that's been going on for years. A pattern where my feelings are dismissed, my achievements are overlooked, and I'm treated as an afterthought. That is completely unfair. We've always supported you. We've always been there for you. Have you? I asked quietly. Were you there for my college graduation when you had scheduling conflicts? Were you there when I got promoted last year and celebrated with a dinner that none of you attended? Were you there for my birthday 2 days ago? We can't attend every single event in your life, Sarah. We have other commitments, other priorities. Like Tyler's promotion. She sighed heavily. Yes, like Tyler's promotion, which was a major achievement. I don't understand why you can't just be happy for your brother instead of making it all about you. I am happy for Tyler. His achievement deserves to be celebrated, but not at the expense of excluding me on my birthday. You're being ridiculous. Birthdays aren't that important once you're an adult. That's your opinion, Mom. and you're entitled to it. But I'm entitled to feel hurt when I'm excluded from family events, especially on days that are meaningful to me. So what do you want from me? She asked, her voice a mixture of frustration and exasperation. An apology? Fine. I'm sorry you felt left out. There. Can we move on now? I almost laughed at the non-apology. I'm sorry you felt left out. Put the responsibility on me for having feelings rather than on her for the actions that caused those feelings. What I want, I said carefully, is for my feelings to be acknowledged as valid. What I want is to be treated as an equal member of this family, not an inconvenience or an afterthought. I have no idea what you're talking about. You sound like you've been reading those self-help books again. I could feel the conversation sliding into familiar territory, her dismissing my concerns, me defending them, both of us getting nowhere. Mom, I didn't call to argue. I called to let you know that I need some time and space to think about our relationship. I won't be coming to Sunday dinner this weekend, or probably for the next few weeks. You're seriously overreacting, Sarah. All this because we celebrated Tyler's promotion on your birthday? You're 32 years old, for heaven's sake. Act like it. I am acting my age, Mom. I'm setting healthy boundaries with people who hurt me, even when those people are family. Especially when they're family. Boundaries. She practically spat the word. Where do you get these ideas? We're your family. There aren't supposed to be boundaries between family members. That's not true. Healthy relationships of all kinds have boundaries. It's how we show respect for each other's feelings and needs. So, what are these boundaries exactly? What are you saying? I'm saying that I need time without contact to process everything. I'm saying that when we do talk again, I need my feelings to be acknowledged as valid, not dismissed as an overreaction. I'm saying that I deserve to be treated with the same consideration that you give to Elaine and Tyler. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry you feel that way, Mom, but this is what I need right now. And what about what I need? What about what this family needs? Have you thought about that? I have. And I've spent most of my life prioritizing what this family needs over my own well-being. I can't do that anymore. So that's it? You're just cutting us off? I'm taking space. It's not the same thing. It feels the same to me. For a moment, I heard something in her voice I rarely detected. Vulnerability. A crack in the armor of certainty she usually wore. It made me pause. Mom, I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm doing it because I need to figure out how to have a relationship with you that doesn't hurt me. Silence on the other end of the line. Then, in a smaller voice than I was used to hearing from her, I never meant to hurt you, Sarah. It was the closest thing to a genuine acknowledgement I'd heard from her in years. Not quite an apology, but a recognition that my pain was real. I know you didn't, I said softly. But you did. And I need time to process that. How much time? I don't know. A few weeks at least. I'll reach out when I'm ready. Another silence. I could almost hear her internal struggle. The part of her that wanted to argue, battling with the part that recognized she might lose me completely if she pushed too hard. Fine, she said finally. Take your time. But don't expect the whole family to just wait around for you to decide we're worthy of your presence again. And there it was. The final dig. The reminder that in her mind, I was still the difficult one, the unreasonable one, the one making demands rather than the one asking for basic respect. Goodbye, Mom. I'll call when I'm ready to talk again. I hung up before she could respond, my hands shaking slightly but my resolve firm. I had set a boundary and stuck to it, despite her attempts to make me doubt myself, to cast me as the villain in her narrative. I sat in the silence of my apartment, letting the weight of the conversation settle around me. There was grief there. Grief for the mother-daughter relationship I had always wanted but never had. Grief for the family dynamic I had tried so hard to fix but couldn't. But there was something else too. Relief. Pride. a sense of having honored myself in a way I never had before. My phone buzzed with a text from my mother. "I hope you realize how much you're hurting this family with your selfishness." One last attempt to make me question my decision, to pull me back into the old dynamic. But this time, I didn't take the bait. I set my phone aside without responding. As I made myself a cup of tea, I found myself thinking about Aunt Vivian's words again, about how she had found peace not by trying to change my mother, but by accepting the reality of their relationship and building her life around people who truly valued her. Maybe that was the path forward for me too. Not cutting off my family completely, but adjusting my expectations. Building stronger connections with the people who saw me, really saw me, and accepted me as I was. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Mia. "Hey, birthday queen, how are you holding up? Want company tonight?" I smiled, feeling a rush of gratitude for friends who checked in, who offered support without being asked. "Actually, yes," I texted back. "I could use a friendly face right now. Be there in 30 with wine and chocolate. Movie night?" "Sounds perfect." I put my phone down and looked around my apartment, my space, filled with things I loved. I had built a good life for myself, despite everything. A life with people who valued me, work that fulfilled me, a home that felt safe. The family I was born into might never give me the unconditional love and acceptance I deserved, but the family I had chosen, friends like Mia, allies like Aunt Vivian, they filled that void in ways my parents, sister, and brother never could. As I waited for Mia to arrive, I opened the new journal again and wrote, "Today I chose myself. Today I set boundaries. Today I took the first step toward a healthier relationship with my family, one based on mutual respect rather than compliance." The doorbell rang. Mia, arriving with wine and chocolate and the kind of unconditional friendship I had always craved from my family. As I opened the door, I realized something important. Being removed from that family group chat on my birthday hadn't just been a painful exclusion. It had been a wake-up call, a reminder that I deserved to be surrounded by people who valued my presence, who celebrated my existence, who treated me with basic kindness and respect. "You look different," Mia said as she handed me a bottle of wine. "More, I don't know, centered?" I smiled, taking the wine and the chocolate she offered. "I feel different. I just had a really tough conversation with my mom, set some boundaries for the first time ever." "Wow," Mia said, looking genuinely impressed. "That's huge. How do you feel?" I thought about it for a moment, searching for the right word to describe the mixture of grief and liberation swirling inside me. "Free," I said finally. "I feel free." And as we settled onto my couch with wine and chocolate, and a movie neither of us would pay much attention to while we talked, I knew it was true. I had taken the first step toward freedom from patterns that had bound me for decades. Toward relationships based on mutual respect rather than obligation. Toward a life where I no longer accepted being removed from the chat, literal or metaphorical, on my own birthday. It wouldn't be easy. Change never is. But as I clinked glasses with Mia and felt the weight of years lifting from my shoulders, I knew it would be worth it. Because I was worth it.